YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. You already know it is your girl Bree. In today's video, I'm going to be highlighting the top 5 loadouts after the Season 5 Reloaded update. There were a ton of weapon balancing changes, ton of buffs, a lot of nerfs to our two most favorite weapons, the STG and the static SMG. I don't think those nerfs to the STG or the static were enough to bring it down from the #1 meta contender. However, there was a few weapon balancing changes that make other weapons up in the contender series. Before we dive into these 5 loadouts, I want to say thank you guys so much for all the love on our most recent videos and live streams. We finally crushed 16,000 subscribers on YouTube. Next up is 20K, so thank you guys once again. If you guys enjoy this loadout video and they help you and you love the builds, do not forget to leave a thumbs up before you head out and subscribe to the channel. Coming in at #1, obviously, is still going to be the STG as your AR and the static as your SMG. Like I said before, the nerfs to these two guns are noticeable, definitely at the longer ranges with the STG and up close with the static as expected, but they still reign supreme. The damage fall off for the STG is quite noticeable since they did decrease the damage at range, but honestly, it still beams. You just got to put a few more bullets into the enemy. The build didn't change literally at all. I'm still rocking the Quartermaster suppressor with the stock 60-round mag and the Jack glassless. However, if you do enjoy running a thermal, I do recommend switching it to the micro therm or the SZ holotherm. So we're going to be rocking the Quartermaster suppressor, the C70 long barrel, 50-round drum, DR79 combo stock, and the Jack glassless. So here is the full screenshot of the build. Now let's move on to the static. I'm honestly quite disappointed that they didn't nerf the static a little bit more and give us a little bit more variety as far as what SMGs people could run. I feel like that's been the narrative for the majority of Urzikstan. First, it was the Swarm, and then it was the Striker 9, and then the WSP, then the HRM, then the Superior, and it also just gets really boring running the same SMG because honestly no other SMGs can compete with the meta at the time. I transitioned from the Paracord underbarrel to the Jack Slasher underbarrel. This is a 2-hit melee, by the way, so if you haven't completed your daily challenges to unlock the Jack Slash, I do highly recommend it. Here's the overall screenshot of the build. The FSS Guardian stock, Night Hour model 2023. As I always say, the optic is personal preference. Some people prefer to take off the optic and run a rear grip or ammo or a laser instead. The Auger 840 light barrel, the Quartermaster suppressor, and the Jack Slash underbarrel. Here's the full build for you guys to enjoy. Now, this is the loadout that I pretty much run for high kills and solos, doing nukes, whatever. The only difference is when I run nukes, I change the Jack glassless to a thermal, but I rock this with smokes, thermites, Mountaineer, sleight of hand, quick fix, and flex. I've recently transitioned from high alert to flex simply because I hate running into a building and dying to cluster mines and bouncing betties, especially on a win streak. Moving on to loadout #2. Now, I ran this gun all day today after the update went live, and the MCW got a pretty significant buff today. While it still seems like it's going to take quite a bit of bullets because it does have that damage range fall off, it was kind of frying. Plus, the recoil is literally non-existent, so I'm going to attach some B-roll as I go over all the attachments. Give it a try. It's honestly really good, especially if you're a Rebirth Demon. This thing's gonna fry. We're gonna rock the Quartermaster suppressor. This suppressor, by the way, is meta. If you're rocking any other muzzle on your guns, you're wrong. The Quartermaster suppressor is the best muzzle in the game. We're gonna be rocking the 16.5-inch MCW Cyclone barrel. The optic on this that we're rocking is the SZ holotherm. Now, if you bought the Trick or Treat bundle back in Warzone 2, you won't see this orange crosshair on the SC holotherm. Instead, you will see one small dot. You can still purchase this bundle by going to, it's been so long since I've done it, you're going to go to Customize, you're going to go to Bundles, and you're going to scroll down until you see Pumpkin Patch. So it's under the Vel or the Socken. So what we're going to do, if you guys haven't purchased this bundle, I'm going to walk you guys through it really quick. You're going to go to the LMGs. You're going to scroll down to the Warzone 2 LMGs and find the Socken. Whenever you scroll over to the available blueprints, it's going to show the Treat bundle, and that's what's going to give you the specific holotherm optic. So if you feel like purchasing it, it's kind of pay to win. It's disgusting, honestly. Highly recommend it. A lot of people have been asking me how I got it, so that's how. So yeah, here's what it looks like with the SC holotherm. Like I said, I am barely pulling down on my right joystick. Let me shoot over here towards the wall. Here's without me pulling down at all. You do have a little bit of rise, obviously, but it's nothing drastic. Nothing like the STG or the SOA or anything like that. Now, with this build, I did rock the static. Like I said, it's literally the meta SMG still, even after it got nerfed. So here's the full screenshot of the static once again, and then we're gonna go back to the MCW. Here's the full screenshot again in case you guys didn't see it before, and that's that loadout. I was also running smokes, thermites, and then my typical perk package. Okay, as far as snipers go, the Moors, in my opinion, is still the best sniper for long-range snipes with the charge barrel. The Kar 98 is still good. It does still one-shot headshot at certain ranges, or if your enemy doesn't have any plates on. But I feel like the Cat AMR is just kind of too slow. The bullet velocity is really slow. It's hard to hit those headies. So here is the full screenshot of the Moors. We're going to be rocking the charge barrel, the Razorhawk laser, Icarus light stock, center 6 grip, and the anti-material slug. The anti-material slug is what makes a huge difference as far as damage goes. You can't wall bang with this thing as much as you could like whenever it first dropped, but it still is very nasty. You can hit some pretty good wall bangs with it. Here's the full screenshot. I'll go into the firing range, kind of show you guys what it looks like when you ADS. We're rocking the default scope on it. Here's the sway with no focus mode. Here's focus, barely any sway, right? And then we'll zoom in, focus, charge it up. Obviously the firing range is broken, so it's not gonna one-shot headshot, but you get the gist. And I have this paired with the Bow 27. Bow 27, I feel like it's kind of been a very underrated gun, especially as sniper support lately. This thing melts, especially on ground loot. I've got the 2 new attachments on, the quartermaster suppressor and the paracord grip. The barrel is going to be the Crown H3 barrel, light stock, and 60 round mag. Let's go into the firing range with this bad boy. Like I said before, I feel like it's kind of underrated, but since it got a little bit of a buff in the Season 5 Reloaded update, hopefully we'll kind of get some more light shed on it. The inspect is honestly really cool. 60 round mag makes a huge difference. And so here's how it looks. The recoil is honestly not that bad, especially with the quartermaster and the paracord grip. I'm using it as a sniper support, but you can change the barrel if you would like to run it as a primary. But yeah, it feels pretty good. And I'm excited to give this thing a try later on tonight whenever I stream. All right, another strong meta contender after the Season 5 Reloaded update is the pulley. This thing has not really been that good since it got nerfed in Season 1.5 or Season 2. Whenever the aftermarket part was absolutely busted. But I gave this thing a try earlier on stream. It's honestly really disgusting. It doesn't kill as fast as the STG. Or it doesn't kill as fast as it used to, obviously, but very, very good. We're going to be rocking the quartermaster suppressor, the pyro heavy barrel, jack glassless on this build in particular, but like I always say, optics are personal preference, the wood stock, and the 7.62 high grain ammo. Let's go into the firing range with this thing. One of the biggest negative things about running a big LMG like the pulley is how slow you run around with it. So I would recommend pairing it with a very fast mobility SMG or a fast mobility AR built like an SMG, like the MCW, BP50, or the Bow 27. Here's the recoil pattern. This is me pulling down on my right joystick. Here's the far dummy. Obviously, I need to hit my shots. But, I mean, honestly, meta contender, and I'm excited to give it a little bit more of a whirl and not use the STG as much. The FJX Horus has never really left the meta contender, but it obviously got outshadowed by the Superi and the Static. But here's the build that I've been rocking a little bit today. The quartermaster suppressor, long barrel, high grain, 60 round drum, and the Nightr model 2023. This thing still fries on ground loot, and honestly, if you play your cards right in and out of a building, you're gonna fry with it no matter what. The fire rate is just unmatched compared to any other SMG at the moment. Obviously, it doesn't have the range like the Static. I mean, you can barely hit the last dummy, but this thing is gonna fry up close, especially if you're a rebirth demon. Okay, and for our last loadout, it's the Kar 98, old reliable. This thing doesn't one-shot as far as it used to, but it's still very good, especially if you're into quickscoping and just fast mobility sniping. I haven't really changed my build up that much besides the quartermaster suppressor. Once again, I took off the Spirit Fire. I've got the long barrel on this, the Choreo, high grain, and the target sling. I'm still rocking the Choreo just because I don't really like how zoomed in the default optic is, or not the default, the SPX optic is. That's what mostly everybody else runs on it. But once again, personal preference. I just like to be fast and not have such a scoped in view, especially if I'm trying to engage in snipe fights at really close ranges. And the MCW conversion kit is kind of making its way back, or did it ever really leave? We don't know. This thing melts. I've been pairing it with the Kar 98, quartermaster suppressor, paracord grip, high grain ammo, 40 round mag, and the conversion kit. This MCW is also very good to pair with the Static or the Superi if you're a resurgence demon. The mobility is insane, and when you pair it with another SMG, you kind of have a little bit more mid to long range damage since it is an AR. So if you find yourself in those weird distances where you're like, dang, I wish I had an AR, or I can't really pull out an SMG and fight this guy, or I'm too close to shoot this guy with an AR, the MCW with the conversion kit is a solid contender. So I definitely recommend giving it a try. Here's the full build. once again, if you guys did not see it before. Those are all 5 loadouts that are going to be in my inventory for the next couple of weeks, unless there's an insane weapon balancing update that drops next week or the week after. Like I said before, the STG and the static still reign supreme in my honest opinion. I think they didn't nerf them enough, or they didn't buff other guns enough. I feel like the biggest issue with Warzone 3 and Urzikstan in general is weapon balancing kind of has been abysmal. They're nerfing the good guns and the fun broken guns and not buffing any other weapons. We literally have 100 and something guns in the game and only 5 to 10 of them are even viable. Like I said before, if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, drop a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys on next week's video.